because it's not tied nationalistically to Canada, although maybe it should be. I suppose if we could put John MaCrae or Flanders Fields on Bay Street and trade shares, and so we might be able to trademark the poppy as a Canadian thing. Every time somebody wears a poppy, they have to pay a quarter to the Harper Conservatives. Sorry for that little political. I can see the re-election fund, the poppy re-election fund. I can see that day coming, and I shouldn't say that because maybe they'll steal the idea and run with it. Yeah, why not? Why shouldn't all the poppy donations come to us? Sorry about that. Okay. Oops. Well, yeah. So people, I think, wear the poppy in the U.S. and Britain and so on and so forth, and have no idea probably why they do so or where it comes from. And in a sense, that's actually a good thing, because it shows that MaCrae was thinking about sacrifice in general, not only about Canadian soldiers, but about all the soldiers who fought and died for their respective causes, I suppose. I'm not sure how much time I have. I don't want to abuse my time at the microphone, etc., etc. Oh,
who's at the door?
Yeah. Well, okay. I'll stick with my poem, which is called Traverse, and this is I appreciate the fact that Honey mentioned it's for sale. It is, and so on. It's an autobiographical poem. It's now in its second printing. It was first published last year by Exile Editions of Toronto. It's an autobiographical poem, and it was mainly written in one day. And as a matter of fact, I just thought of it. I just remembered. This was the majority of this poem, 980 lines or something like that. And it's about, I think, 1,200 lines long, but no, 1,100 lines long. So 900 lines or so were written in one day. And that day was Canada Day 2005. July 1, 2005, I wrote most of this book without knowing I was writing this book. And that's because July 1 is for me a particular holiday, not holiday, but anniversary, because it was on July 1, 1975, and I was 15, that I started to write poetry. And so whenever July 1 comes along, yes, I think, oh, Canada, but I also think, oh, poetry. So on 10 years ago, July 1, 2005, I was in Halifax, and the fact that I was visiting my home city got me thinking about how I got to write poetry, how I came to write poetry, and how poetry has defined my adult life. And this poem is, or this book is the result of that reflection. So here it is, and I'll be careful not to go on too long. So the poems are numbered, but here I begin. Number 1. What was handed down was back talk, nasty Nova Scotian noise, black and insolent, an A to Z menagerie of braying or caterwauling script, crying out loud, cryptic adorations, Christ and curry and quaint, not only in that order, via a hodgepodge of fountain pens, one quixotic, the rest antique, straggling ink between wispy lines, letting letters light, dead on, biting into paper. Under black but blazing eyes, I ruled pages slantwise because, wayward as a Goliard, I thought kazoos could serenade bulldozers, or that gold could sun rain. I thought I could import Storyville to a ghetto of fiddles and bagpipes, I was trying to graduate from grape Kool-Aid to Manischewitz wine, from illegible crayons to illegitimate poems, to go howling after white vamps with black hearts and gleam hot perfumes on their arctic flesh, off and on any sweaty sofa. Upon a domain of gravitas I trespass that beginner's dominion day, falling where rude books made bodies plain, spread eagling love, affixing her sorta to a crucifix, lyrics turned as dark as the innards of radios, stench of ozone accenting cat piss smells of LP jackets. Their genius gave me chills and made me want to throw up, as if reading were the same experience as watching a piano explode. Damn thee, witless abstraction, gutless dreams, heartless ideals. My pitched ears slurped up music's juices. Mine eyes gobble gilt wine plus hors d'oeuvres, the champagne and caviar look of each page. Anthologies were subversive, half Tijuana Bible and half marijuana dream. Here's Sadomaso Poe diddling Plath. There's slave trade in Rimbaud bunkering Berlin. And like some lumpen Black Panther or Vandal, I ransacked New Directions Pound, Faber T.S. Elliott, City Lights, Ginsberg, McClellan and Stewart, Leonard Cohen, Penguin Books, Baudelaire, Farrar Straus Giroux, Walcott, and Third World Press, Carolyn M. Rogers. I ain't forgotten Henry Dumas, Conrad Kent Rivers, Robert Hayden, or Jean Toomer. I don't shun their deep South sermons, their harmonious harmonies. Their pages unfurl as thin as moonshine. You tip one of their gypsy poems, and it tips you over tipsy. Their words float just like Mary Poppins, but sting just like Muhammad Ali. Suddenly, Queen Elizabeth's English turns Negroid, Mongoloid, dawdling and lavish in the mouth. Now you know to draw down poems means tapping born again, now deathless trees. I was reading way too much. My eyes were as bad as my manners. My manners were as bad as my speech. Literature set me a stutter, 'cause my black tongue could ne'er sound learned. Sounded more like a foul play. I mean, I was unsound, dig? My Marxism-Leninism enlisted Pushkin, Pasternak, Rasputin, plus Nabokov's Lolita. My Maoism mixed sake and haiku, et le bon mot de pure Elliott Trudeau. But Irving Layton modeled a swaggering guru. Take down a gal, get taken down by a gal. Them days I navigated Halifax like a three-legged cat. Alert but hurt, limping, moaning open heart surgery blues, facing the stink of bad news, slop of bad shots, sobs of liquor, while syringes stretched bodies on ice cold as burnt-out fire hydrants, and parading tarts made their privates public for a price. Never too much. I only wanted to make love when the moon gleamed sunny. White chicks looked colored, and ink streamed from me fluorescent, blossoming, luminous. Didn't I freeze, perambulating frozen peninsular Halifax, north end to south end to north, crossing and double-crossing, hierarchy and caste and race and sex, stumbling at times them fault lines, as intoxicated as Lear, I staggered raggedly, taking blows of rain and snow, or slaps of rain and snow, and tears stinging my black face, breathless, fog and snow and rain and tears. Store window spit neon to bleach me white. My jeans were impure, my blue jeans were dirty. I gotta skip ahead here. Here goes. I'll take a breath. All right. All right. Where do I go next? All right. All right. Hanging out, lingering with Nona. I got cultured in pickles, guitars, car engines. She cared less about doing well for herself than doing good for others. I could spy the legacy of slavery divulged poignantly in our very colors. Blue, green, gray eyes or molasses ones, blonde or copper or black hair that was either rambunctiously curly or passed for white straight. The consequence of my unsolicited and quite unsophisticated desire was to watch blushing roses blossom and taste them in apple pie. Forgive, please, these down-home metaphors, but Nona was like a horse I couldn't ride, couldn't even pet, but for whom I was secretly giddy, likely enough to plunge over cliffs. Thus, my first love mirrored her blondness. Oh, Nona, how could you have shot yourself and emptied out all your irreplaceable blood and blasted your gorgeous being, never vulgar, into the soulless of a casket? That premier girl's initials are OK. OK. She was a premium knockout. How could I not feel KO'd by that svelte and vexing intellectual? I gotta talk about this area. To Waterloo I shipped, shelving a gangrenous heart. To now besiege the cannon's heavyweights. Chaucer, Shakespeare, Milton, Hopkins, Yeats, and smash a train through their fortress. I used to go nights and stand beside Lake Columbia, letting the wind splash those shallow waves high enough to baptize me with a false image of the Atlantic. Or strolled I always along Laurel Creek, planning to elegize Monsignor Moses Cody and be that black and red plaid shirt Baptist Marxist. To wield the hammer and sickle and crucifix, I declared myself now Nat Mosiah Shaka, riled a pink-faced Tory thrust 5 pinkies against my face. Wasn't I ridiculous? Sure, I was ridiculous. High stepping in crayon shoes and high-hat afro, ogled I a tall, thin, tan, and tantalizing bone Jamaican with streaming noir hair, dove breasts, occupying that hallway in modern languages in her blue jean skirt and Ilsa she-wolf black boots. I deemed her a